Shalom. So I recently saw a video by Rav Yosef Mizrachi, and speaking about Rabbi Nachman, and basically stating that he used the words, I believe, 90% of what is attributed to Rabbi Nachman is not necessarily what Rabbi Nachman himself said. That is so absurd on so many levels, I don't even know where to begin. One of the biggest things to understand is that Rabbi Natan, who is basically the scribe of Rabbi Nachman, he wrote down all of his Torahs, his main Torahs, the main work of Rabbi Nachman, which is Likutei Moharan, and he wrote that down often from manuscripts of Rabbi Nachman, and also that book was published during Rabbi Nachman's life. So you have the whole Likutei Moharan, at least I think if I'm not mistaken, only the first Likutei Moharan, there's two parts. The first part was published in Rabbi Nachman's lifetime. I'm not sure about the second part, possibly. But also you have Sichot Haran, the Conversations of Rabbi Nachman, which is also written by Rabbi Natan. And these things, okay, and you also have other manuscripts written by some of the other followers of Rabbi Nachman. I once heard a story very recently, actually, about a man who knew Rabbi Nachman, okay? And he was telling somebody who had never known Rabbi Nachman in his lifetime, and he was telling him, I know more, okay? I know more about Rabbi Nachman from having read the works, the writings of Rabbi Natan than I knew from knowing Rabbi Nachman, because Rabbi Natan did such a good job at encompassing and really relaying to us the Torah and the wisdom of Rabbi Nachman that that's the only way to know, I mean, this guy wasn't there to hear everything that Rabbi Nachman said. And if Rabbi Natan hadn't written all of the books that he had written about Rabbi Nachman and his teachings and his life and his journeys and all of these things, you wouldn't know about so much about Rabbi Nachman. So it's completely absurd on so many levels to say that 90% of what is attributed to Rabbi Nachman is not necessarily known to have been said by Rabbi Nachman himself. That's absurd. That's completely ridiculous. He's basically claiming that Rabbi Natan, who was a huge tzaddik, huge hacham, he knew Torah inside and out, memorized all sorts of aspects of Torah, Torah shebichtav, Torah sheba'al peh, Gemara, so on and so forth. And in Midrashim, he knew so much. He was a massive hacham. He's a massive gaon. And to say that he was a liar, perhaps, to say has v'shalom, to say that he made up words and attributing to Rabbi Nachman is absurd, absolutely absurd. And I always knew that there was something wrong with Rav Mizrachi. I always liked a lot of what he said, but there's always something off. And here's the thing. We are in a time, nobody else has written such Torahs as you find in Likutei Moharan. No one else has taught such a Torah as Rabbi Nachman. It's so intricate. It boggles the mind, okay? It's unbelievable. The amount of wisdom, deep wisdom, and it all has to do with Avodat Hashem. That's the point, okay? We're in a time and a generation, a horrible, horrible time, horrible generation. The way the world is, the way so many even religious Jews act, and the way that and the problems that we're faced with today, the amount of ni'uf that exists in the world, the amount of lack of emunah, even in the religious world, it's all over. It's unbelievable. And to be able to write about these, somebody 200 years ago told us exactly what would be going on in our generation, okay? He knew what was going to happen in our times, in our concurrent times. He knew what it would be like, and he gave us Torah advice on how to do Hashem's will in an age like this, and what emphasis to stress from the Torah. So it's not really Obviously, it's a new Torah, but it's also an ancient Torah. It's the ancient path, and it restored so much of what we've lost over 2,000 years of exile, or by his time, almost 2,000 years of exile that the Jewish people had been in. And this is immense, and the fact that he predicted such things, the fact that he predicted the course of the future, and gave us the advice for the future. Rabbi Nachman is the go-to guy. He is the tzaddik amiti, the real true tzaddik, for all the generations from his time onward up until the coming of Mashiach. He is our lifeline to be able to get ourselves in shape, do tikkunim for our souls. There's so much, such a horrible time, a horrible atmosphere that we live in. And without going to him, without accepting him as a tzaddik amiti, I'm sorry to tell you, it's nothing foreign. People were not saved from Mitzrayim, from Egypt, without believing in Hashem and in Moshe Avdo, as it says in Shirat Hayam, which we just read yesterday, or 2 days ago. I'm sorry, on the last day of Pesach, on Friday, and Shirat Hayam, Vayaminu b'Moshe b'Hashem u'v'Moshe Avdo. The people believed in Hashem and in Moshe his servant. It's not a new concept. It's not anything, Chas v'Shalom, like other religions. Okay, this is something that's within the Torah, and the people, the naysayers, are run. They might not even know it, but they're run by something that possesses them, and that thing that possesses them is wicked and evil, and everybody comes to the tzaddik amiti, whether it be Moshe Rabbeinu, Rashbi, who's the author of the Zohar, the Arizal, the Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Nachman, Me'uman, and everybody comes to the true tzaddikim because they're like dust, and they have the gravitational pull that the earth has, and everybody comes down to them, unless there is a counterforce, which, say you throw a ball up in the air, the ball comes up in the air and it starts to come down, but if there's a counterforce here to catch the ball, does not let it come to the ground, does not let it come to the tzaddik amiti. So all these people who are naysayers, and the people who do not believe in such a concept of a tzaddik amiti, which is right there in the written Torah for you to learn from, which is not a new concept. These naysayers, these people who want to make their own kingdom, they want to make their own, greatness, and make their own dynasty, and not submit to Moshe Rabbeinu. They're like Korach, and they are withholding people, withholding the Gula, withholding Mashiach arriving in our days, because they're not allowing people to go to the source, the Nahal Noveh Makor Chachma, the flowing river, source of wisdom, the overflowing river, the source of wisdom, which is Rosh Tevot, head letters, initial letters, Nachman, Rabbi Nachman Me'uman. And it's a horrible thing, and these people don't even know what they're doing. They don't understand, and that's just it. They don't get it. And I wanted to make another point here. Achitofel, in Tanakh, you have a counselor, a man of his counsel was considered. Achitofel, he was an advisor to David HaMelech first, and then later to Avshalom, his son. And his advice was considered as great advice as seeking the Urim and Tumim, the oracle. His advice was like the advice that you would get from Hashem himself. That's what his advice was considered as. And what did he advise Avshalom when Avshalom rebelled against his father and started his own kingdom? He advised him to go and sleep with some of his concubines that David had left behind to take care of the house, and advised him to kill David HaMelech. David HaMelech was the tzaddik amiti of his time. Okay, he was also the go-to guy, somebody you had to believe in and follow for the salvation of Israel, because that was Hashem's plan. Same concept. Okay, so Achitofel, whose advice he knew so much Torah, his advice was valued in such a way, but even he was against the tzaddik amiti, who was David. And we have the same kind of things going on today. Don't be fooled by it. Don't be fooled by it. Because if you ask Hashem, if you simply go to Hashem and say, Hashem, show me what the truth is. Show me what I should be doing, who I should be following. you will make your way to Rabbi Nachman Meuman, because he, for us in this time, in this generation before Mashiach, that's it. That's what we need to be doing. Thank you.